Video, every day. Okay, so don't worry, it's rated R for rabbi. Okay, so only rabbis can watch it. So I wanted to, first of all, kol hakavod for everyone to come in this cold, freezing weather, and being Mesiras Nefesh, sacrificing your comfort zone, home to come here. And so when people go through such length to come to learn some Torah, it's a good sign. It's about good things that come from that. And I wanted to continue a little bit about the subject from last week. Why? Because, not just because it's my favorite subject, but because it's, I think, a consciousness that we have to change, and that is very hard to change. There's nothing harder than to change our way of thinking. We have, thank God, neuroplasticity, right? And but even neuroplasticity takes a very long time unless one is fully emotionally and intellectually invested in a certain way of thinking. And the goal is really to change our mentality. The only way we will change the world is if we change our mentality and understand that the world will become by the way we look at it, by the way we think of it, by the way we treat it, and therefore hopefully, and it's never about quantity really. You can have a small group of people, have a tremendous focus on one idea, and you can have a huge impact. Okay, so last week we started speaking about the nations of the world, and about the idea that as Jews we should actually care about the nations of the world, and we actually all made a prayer. Everybody wrote a prayer. I hope you practiced it during this week, and it's a prayer for the world, each one with his own words on what he wishes to pray for the world. It's something that we're not taught to do, although if you look actually clearly in your Machzor, on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, you pray for the world. That Hayom Harat Haolam, right? The world is not, it's not a Jewish world. It's God's world. Jews and non-Jews. It's not just for us. Remember, the story of the Jews only started last week, Lech Lecha, 2 weeks ago. Before that, there was no Jews. And by the way, it's not Jews, it's the Hebrews. Jews is the Galus word, exile style. Jew. Ivri. We are all Israeli, we are all Hebrews, and we are all in Galus here until we go back, reclaim, and go back to our original, country and language and everything. If someone asks you, where are you from? I'm from Israel. All of us. We're all from Israel. And what's your nationality? Israeli. We're all Israelis. Even if you don't have the passport, it's okay. You can say it. Okay. Now.
It's better to be Israeli without a passport.
What?
It's better to be Israeli without a passport now.
Right, yeah, that's true. Anyway, okay, so what I want to touch upon, connected to the last week's question, I want to go a bit deeper. I want to be a little bit more controversial than I already am.
Yes.
I put my blue shirt to make sure, it's like, it's already from white to blue. Well, this rabbi, you gotta be careful. But, I like to be on the edge. So, we spoke about the idea of praying for the non-Jewish nation. But I want continue with last week's parsha where he spoke about Avraham and Sodom. Right? Avraham, God tells Avraham, I'm going to destroy Sodom because it's really evil place, and I got to get rid of them. And Avraham comes to Hashem, as we all know, and what does Avraham do? hey, Hashem, how can you do this? This is your world, you created it, and there might be good people, there might be 50 good people. Why can you are you going to do that? That's not fair, that's not justice. How are you going to destroy the good with the enemy? That's not right. So, in a way, he was praying for the world, right? Now, if I would ask you today, what would you do if you had to act like Avraham, okay? Today, in 2022, let's say you hear, let's raise Gaza, let's destroy Gaza, like, and kill it all, Sodom and Gomorrah style. Or let's destroy Russia or Ukraine, whoever you are with. I'm not with anyone, I'm in the middle. But the question is, okay, what would Avraham Avinu do, or say, or pray? What do you think?
Say no.
You wouldn't say that. Say that. What?
You say that they're righteous people there.
Right. Right. Exactly. So let me ask you, it's to show you really, again, don't take it personally, it's to show you how far we are removed from being an Avraham Avinu and Sarah. Right? What? Yeah, question?
Can I ask a question, Rabbi?
Soon. Don't forget. If I was an Avraham Avinu today, or Sarah Imenu, I would go in my prayers and say, God, don't destroy Gaza, or don't destroy Ukraine, or don't destroy Russia. There are innocent people there. We got to remove them. So technically, as Jews, we'll take the Mossad or whatever, IDF or whatever forces, and we go to Gaza and take all the innocent Palestinians who are being tortured by Hamas and using them as shield or whatever, and or go to Ukraine or Russia, the border, and try to save all those innocent people who are in the middle of that war, or those people who are fighting. And that's what a Jew is supposed to do, right? And pray for. But who prays like that? We don't even think like that, right? And that's scary, because that means how far we are removed from having a Avraham and Sarah Imenu mentality. That's the Jewish mentality. It's, we're very Jewish when it comes to our religion. How Jewish are you when it comes to life? God is not only in shul or in the yeshiva or on Shabbat or whatever in the Jewish home. It's everywhere. The Jewish way is supposed to be everywhere. And what I want to focus a little bit on today is, I don't know if people saw the video I did last week, whatever, about the nation, loving the nation, but I want to go a little bit into that, not too much, because you can watch the other video. I don't like to repeat myself, but this is such an important subject, and the idea is that it's important, we have to fall in love with the nations. Now I'm not saying on a physical level, meaning don't go, finally I can, marry my non-Jewish boyfriend or my non-Jewish girlfriend. No, that's what I'm talking about, obviously. Then I will really be controversial. I don't want to be that controversial. But the idea is that the way we perceive the world and the nation is not the authentic Jewish way in most cases. Now, it comes with different ideas of Kabbalah. We kind of spoke about it, I think, a little bit last week. But I want to, these two Gemaras that speaks about this concept, my opinion. But I want to start first with the Kabbalistic idea that we have God and Adam. That was supposed to be the first couple in the world, right? God being the husband, the groom, and he's getting married soon. So the groom. Thank you. And then you have Adam, who was supposed to be the bride, and it was supposed to be a beautiful, love relationship, but they had communication problems. That's why you come to Rabbi G for therapy, communication, marriage skills. Anybody blocking a car? We don't want to create a conversion. So. Then send the Russians. Cool. No. Okay. Okay.
They might lose my car by accident.
So this was meant to be the first couple. What happened is that it failed, and God, in order for Adam to understand what it is to be a couple, split Adam in half, creating him male and female, imitating what God had done at the beginning. That God split himself up and created a female world, and God will have been the male energy of that world, which is Adam, humanity, and God saying, I'm going to do the same thing with you, and Adam became male, female, split in half, and now he had to learn to become one. But because there were sneaky people in Gan Eden, those sneaky people took advantage of the fact that Adam and Eve also had communication problems. I mean, if they didn't, why was she doing alone with the snake? Right? Don't let a woman alone with the snake. These guys, if you get married, don't let a woman alone with the snake.
No private tennis trainers.
Right. Right? Dangerous. There's those sneaky people. Hey,
What about platonic relationships?
the what?
Controversy territory.
Next week's viewer.
Platonic
Platonic
relationships, like
Oh,
friends.
platonic.
Guy friends.
Yeah, well, yeah, next week. So, but understanding that with Adam and Eve, that there was still some communication problem even there, and because of that, God had to create two types of nations: the Jews and the non-Jews. The Jews being the male, the Adams, and the non-Jews being the Eve, the bride. So, which and what is the male's job? If you look by the animal world, we can learn a lot from the animal world. We learn midos from the animal world. And who goes seduce who in the animal world? Who makes the dance?
The woman. The man.
Oh, it's always the man who goes seduce.
I was kidding.
You must be Jewish joke. So Jewish. Yeah. So it's, I think it's 95%, if not 99%. I don't want to be too controversial. It's the man, the animal, the male animal who go seduce the female animal.
It's like Elliot with Pergolas.
They don't
What?
necessarily seduce.
No, but it's a type of seduction. It's like it's impress, seduce. He is the way of the man to go look for her, and or like you have the penguins who bring the stones to the female. Peacock.
It's the pretty one.
I think you think it's a woman, it's a male, it's
It's a fluid gender.
Peacocks are peacocks. I don't know. Okay, guys, let's try to stay focused. I know it's a big important topic. So what does it mean? What does it mean for us? Why we're talking now that it's the role of the man to go seduce the woman. It's the role of men to see that I have guys. Is my role to go and see the beauty in the woman. The problem of Adam with Eve, the problem that why was Eve alone? He didn't learn to see the beauty, to appreciate the beauty in the woman. Because of that, she didn't feel valued, and you needed a Mr. Snitty to come and say, oh, you know, you're so great, and and seduce her that way. So there's two Gemaras that I want to share. One Gemara is saying like that. Okay. Rabbi, it's in Megillah. It starts in Tes Amud Aleph till Amud Beis. So page 9b. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel said, even books of scripture the sages did not permit to be written in any foreign language other than Greek. And the halacha follow Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, which means that, so says Rabbi Yochanan, my time the Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. What's the reason why Shimon ben Gamliel said you could translate the Torah scroll? I mean, have the Torah scroll in Greek, as opposed to Hebrew. Amakra yaft Elokim leyafet veishkan be'ahale Shem. May God extend Yafet, which is Greece, one of the three sons of Noah, and he will dwell in the tents of Shem. Varay shel Yafet shel Yafet yiyu be'ahale Shem. The words, the language. So Varav, which is the word, the language of Yafet, shall be in the tents of Shem. That's the source that you can have a Torah scroll in Greek. Now, why would God allow that? We know how precise we are that, you know, Hebrew is the holy language. Shlashon HaKodesh. The most precious thing that we have is the Torah scroll. And God said, you are allowed, for a certain reason that happened in history, because there was that king with the Septuagint that he wanted to have the Torah translated in Greek. And what did God do? He gave Ruach HaKodesh to all 70 rabbis, or 72 rabbis, and they all translated, made 10 changes. I think 10 changes. I don't know if it says here, but it was about 10 changes in understanding, and they all translated perfectly. Because if they hadn't done that, the king, which was King, let's see if it says.
They're also on a boat,
What? What?
Well, what's the difference, right?
They were on a boat.
That was from Titus?
No, that's Megillah.
Avodah
Okay.
About Baruch Holy Chain?
We're trying to find the name of the king. King Ptolemy. Mishum Maseh de Talmei HaMelech. Right. King Ptolemy. So he's the one who wanted to translate the Torah in Greek, in Greek, and he says it was a great darkness in the world. But the fact is that because it was translated, there was some Ruach HaKodesh went into it, and that kind of sealed it into something that was still holy. So what do we do with that? Why am I bringing that? Because it means that we know there's Shivim Panim La Torah. There's 70 facets of the Torah. Why would God make Shivim Panim La Torah, 7 facets of the Torah, and 70 nations?
Wow.
We know everything is related. Everything parallels in Judaism. There's no coincidence, especially in the numbers. If there are 70 facets of the Torah, it must be, by definition, that the 70 nations correspond to the 17 Panim La Torah, which means that every just water? Russian water? It means that by definition every nation will be able to reflect something from the Torah in their own unique way, and that's their job.
So we should travel
To
learn more Torah.
Well, you have to be careful. You can be lost in just one facet. As a Jew, we're responsible to have all 70 facets. You have the core. It's the menorah. While we're coming soon to Hanukkah, and the 7th branch. how are the lights of the chandelier positioned towards the center? Because the 7 lights, which correspond to the 7 main wisdom, biology, music, astronomy, mathematics, natural science, and I forgot another 7, chemistry maybe. So those 7 science, they're from the secular world, but we know it's all in the Torah. So why do we need to even? No, you don't understand. All those science, all those external wisdom, come originally from the Torah, and come out in the world, the secular world, to beautify the Torah, to magnify the Torah, and to be used in a way to bring even more light. It's like, do you prefer to see just one light, rays of light from the sun, or you prefer to watch the rainbow?
Do we know what we can learn from all of them?
Of course.
Like, is it written down?
Today?
Learn this from.
Good question. I'll look into it. I believe we know some. That's why I brought the thing of the Greeks. From the Greeks, we can learn beauty. It says there's no language as beautiful as the Greek. And Yafet means beauty. Why Yafet? The meaning there's the culture of Yafet was all about the beauty of the body, right? There are all those naked statues, all that. It can be, but remember, in Gan Eden we were naked. So it's trying to bring back a certain beauty where you realize that everything in you is beautiful in many ways. Okay, let's understand that the Greeks were very high level. We Jews, we love the Greeks. We got so close, we got like almost completely assimilated because their wisdom was great, and the Greeks wanted to include it. They say, but just you don't need God. You don't need the Torah. We have all the science here. You don't need, right? So they wanted to disconnect spiritual from the beauty of this world. But if you don't understand that beauty is a reflection of the source beauty, that the rainbow comes from that one ray of light, then you're disconnecting everything. So we as Jews, we're supposed to be that rays of light, and the nations are the rainbow. Right? They are called the Bnei Noach, and the whole rainbow happened with Noach. Right, with the 7 Noachide laws, which is the 7 laws of humanity. So it's all connected. 770. Oh, I on Chabad now. 770, and the Jews and the non-Jews. And by the way, Chabad made a huge impact in the world in revealing creating a connection. Only Chabad, all almost. I mean, you have individual Mikubalim or big rabbis who non-Jews used to go. But Chabad did a great thing about going all over the world and trying to infiltrate in a non-Jewish town to bring back the Jews and to teach those 7 Noachide laws, which is a Rambam that we are obligated to teach the 7 Noachide laws to the non-Jews. In case you didn't know, you suppose whatever non-Jew you meet, you should say, oh, it's an opportunity for me to teach the 7 Noachide laws.
Where's Joe? Joe, you decided to Noachide for
Right? Now,
Maybe together.
that's the first thing. The second thing that it speaks is in Gemara.
Well,
So
the sushi restaurant where they say lava.
in the Gemara Avodah Zarah. By the way, one of the things what do is there Gemara Avodah Zarah? The main purpose of the Gemara Avodah Zarah is to teach you how to deal with the non-Jewish world, with their holidays, with their business. It tells you like, are you allowed to give them money and time where it's Christmas because they're going to use the money for their God, all that, and you're sponsoring the Christ.
Or are you?
What?
Are you?
Maybe. It depends. You have to see if they're going to use that money, if it's before or after. So yeah, this all the laws are. It's all about Avodah Zarah. Basically, it's to teach you what type of relationship you're supposed to have with the non-Jews.
Also,
And
Shaitos, Rabbi.
what?
Shaitos also.
Yeah, Shira also. And let's understand that today there's also a difference between a non-Jew and Oved Avodah Zarah. Most non-Jews today are not considered Oved Avodah Zarah. Even by Christian, it depends. Protestants, they don't believe that Jesus is God and all that. So you have to Catholic and Protestant is very different. So anyway, you should learn about the world. The Protestants don't believe that
They're
Jesus
not
is
real
God.
Christians.
No,
They
they're both
believe he's a
Nicene.
prophet. What?
They're both Nicene Christians.
Yeah, they wake up the dera from the
No,
Catholic.
they're both Nicene. Protestant and Christian and Catholicism. They both believe that Jesus is an inherent part of God.
The Catholic,
And Protestant.
no,
Yeah, all of them. The Protestant and Eastern Orthodox, all Nicene.
not Protestant.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Protestants don't have statues in their church.
That's living thing, but they still believe that Jesus himself is the essence of God. The only Christians nowadays that don't believe that are the Mormons. They believe it's a
Are
separate
you 100% sure?
That's not true.
Because I spoke to.
Mormon church doesn't believe it.
He's just like academic. Maybe that one Christian like doesn't believe that. I don't know.
Ask Rabbi.
No, I'll double check. I'll double
Maybe
check.
Seventh-day Adventists are also more.
These new religions like Mormon and like Scientology and
That's different. So Mormons are the only
Seventh-day
non-Nicene
Adventists
sect.
are also more Old Testament than New Testament.
They're the only non-Nicene sect.
Okay, well, yeah, but the Mormons are not even considered any Christians, right?
Hey! Oh,
Okay, so now the Gemara in Avodah Zarah, Bet Amud Aleph and Bet. So it speaks at the beginning that at the end of time, guess what's going to happen? In the future to be, the Holy One basically will bring the Torah scroll and place it in his bosom and declare, whoever occupied himself with it, with the Torah, shall come and take its reward. Immediately, the idol worshippers will gather and come in disarray. Okay? So, God says He's going to reward everyone now from whoever, and it's interesting, all the non-Jews are going to come, but they say they're going to come all mixed up. It's very strange, like, who cares if they come mixed up or not mixed up, right? And it stated all the nations gathered together. The Holy One, blessed be He, then tells them, do not enter before me in disarray. Rather, let each and every nation enter individually, and its scholars, as it stated, and the Leumim assemble. And the Leumim only means the kingdom. So they're asking why, but why did God instruct the nation to assemble in an orderly fashion? Is there then disarray before the Holy One that be here? I mean, God cannot know who is who. I know really from France or from Uzbekistan or from Russia. I know you, even though you're all mixed up. Rather, the reason that God directs the idolaters to organize themselves into individual nations is so that they should not become intermingled with one another. You understand that shatnez and the mixing of the climb, right? Mixing the trees together, grafting trees together, and even the animals. This applies also to human beings. French are supposed to stay with the French, the Spanish with the Spanish, the Buchain with the Buchains. Okay?
Yeah, but with Jews, it's not counted, right?
We're Jews from everywhere, but Jews with Jews.
Right, okay.
Why?
it's healthy to.
But it's healthy to mix genetics.
That's why
But
that's.
so why are there halachos that we shouldn't do it?
What do you mean? So there's a lot of that Sephardi shouldn't marry.
No,
Ashkenazis?
it doesn't say that. I'm saying these halachos about not mixing plants, not mixing animals, and not and Jews with Jews and
Not
not Jews with
there shouldn't
Jews.
be interracial marriages.
Based on that, it's not the ideal.
Really?
I'm not.
I thought it was ideal.
Well, yes, I love mixes. I love cocktails and stuff like that.
It's
But
healthier, like for
no,
generations.
yeah, because we're trained. I mean, the society also is pushing us to mixing. Obviously,
No, I'm saying from a Jewish standpoint.
and we know Tu B'Av was a very happy day because women were allowed to marry from the other tribes because if they didn't have their, it's the daughter of Tzelofchad, so all the tribes were open and they could intermarry between the tribes. But technically, it's not ideal because if I'm from the tribe of Yehuda, I want to be able to carry on that unique Yehuda power, approach, beauty, and thing. If I mix myself with another tribe, I lose that inheritance, that heritage, right? And by the way, I believe this is the same reason that if you, again, I'm not saying that it should be like that. Today everything is mixed.
But marries a girl from somewhere else, he's still Yehuda, and his kids are still.
Right. So for the men, especially,
The women, it doesn't matter.
women doesn't matter as much
But Rabbi,
because they're superheroes. What?
David Melech and Mashiach comes from a big mix.
She can marry
Right. But it's from the tribe of
You can marry
Yehuda.
anyone, it doesn't matter.
Now, it's essentially that if the law in Allah.
Either
But
way,
whoever
they're
she
gonna
marries,
continue
she's not counted.
She doesn't
anymore. She
contribute
doesn't
to-
matter.
Yeah, she just make him Jewish, which is the most important part.
Right, but like if she marries her normal tribe, then she gets some.
She continue. Yeah, if she. Right.
Woman
She can continue any tribe, but ideally, right. Yeah.
There's like a respect for the
Right.
Shevet
So
in
in
a
that
sense, like giving it
sense.
inside.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, and that's why we have so many halachos of the minhagim that you are supposed ideally to follow the minhag of your parents, right? It's very new that today you have a Litvish becoming Hasidish, a Hasidish becoming Litvish, or a Sephardi becoming Ashkenaz, Ashkenaz becoming Sephardi. It's new. It never happened in
So
history.
there's a negative look on that.
There is some negative look in the sense that the problem is today all our souls are mixed up, and technically when you will see like for example Kohanim, they're very proud of being Kohanim. They don't want to lose their Kohanim. Okay, I'll marry just someone who is not who is a ger or is divorced no, but each one has its own thing. You have the Kohanim and Levim and the 12 tribes, and each tribe has its own beauty. If you go out, you're diluting the beauty of each one of the tribes, and that's what is the idea of kibbutz Avraham and following the minhag of your parents. You're allowed to change sometimes the minhag of your parents if your soul doesn't feel connected and your soul doesn't feel that's right, but. You're supposed to ask first to your parents and the psak, to a rabbi, if it's okay to change certain minhagim, not to hurt the feelings of your parents, or So you're allowed sometimes.
That's why it's easier to track Muhammad's genes.
Right. Also, right. So the same way we have this in Judaism, we're talking about it. Same thing with the world. That's why we have that. Same thing here, where Hashem said, "I need all the nations to be gathered based on their origin, their roots." So the reasons that shouldn't become intermingled with one another, in order that they would be able to hear and respond to that which God is saying to them, which is very strange. You need to be all the Spanish people go to Spain, all the English back to Brexit, all the French back to French Revolution, French. Right? Every nation has a greatness, and each one is going to be judged based on who he is. But even the nation, as much as the Jews, we are going to need to go back to our true identity, my true source. Why is it important? It's not that you can be whoever you want. It's the idea that there's a unique beauty and power in qualities that you have, that if you're not aware of it, you're gonna waste a lot of your energy in a direction that it's like you do a job and you don't have those qualities for that job. You will be much more efficient in a job where you have the qualities, right? So
What if you feel like a different version of Judaism is more authentic? Like you connect more.
If you connect more to the
Like the Karaites.
so you
Like you daven as Hashfard.
right, yeah, no, so that's what I'm saying. Well, I got lucky. I was a Baal Tshuva, so I could almost choose whatever I wanted. My father was still Ashkenaz, but yeah. So you're more flexible, because since you don't have anything yet to carry direct, you're gonna connect mostly to what you connect the most. So it's more flexible.
Rabbi, if I want to put blood on the doorposts on Pesach, it's okay?
Whose blood?
Your
cat?
Lamb's blood.
A lamb's blood, or actual lamb? That's a good question. I never thought of it, but
The Karaites.
why not? But the neighbors, and they're going to think that you're killing some Christian babies and put the blood there. So you have to be careful, because that's what it's.
Not baby's blood.
It was a one-time event, though, right?
What?
It was only a one-time event.
No, they still do it. They still do it in Israel. Yeah.
The blood?
People
The
can do it with carbon
Yeah.
based
No, not today.
I've seen
You're
it.
not
I've
allowed.
seen it.
No, I'm
Sweet,
saying
that's only
during
a Russian
carbon
like
based
right after
I was there.
Oh,
I saw it. It's got some
I don't
Jeffrey
know. I think it was only done the first time.
I don't know who that guy is.
But it's a good question. I don't think. I think it was the only one the first time. It's a bit weird. I mean, it's not weird. It's just like it's not. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Frozen, but it's not.
let's try to go a little bit more to the point. So what I'm saying is that Hashem wants each nation to be a single individual, because each nation has something beautiful and unique to give. What we are supposed to do is to try as Jews, while we're the light into the nation. What light? The light that is going to see what good each nation has. And if you look at the Jews, if you look at the Jewish music, you're going to see they're going to take, some DJ stuff from those, some rock and roll stuff, some jazz stuff from that. And you see that the Jewish music is a combination of all the things. How many, all the Hasidic, oh yo 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 yo, those are Russian march songs. There's very few songs that are authentically Jewish, coming from the Beis Hamikdash.
I get a lot of Hasidim saying that.
I usually bake Astro candy.
According to some, by the way, some of the region you have Gregorian chant. Like in the church, that comes from the Levim actually. So it's backward. It comes from actually the Beis Hamikdash that brought that type of orchestra thing. That then he got influenced the world to do opera and all that stuff. So sometimes it's the other way. But
We're not allowed to listen to it?
opera? Why
Oh,
not?
like Gregorian chants.
Why not?
Why would you you'll hear about Jesus?
No,
It's not. No, it's not. It's not about Jesus.
No,
It's just like
no,
it's like
depends.
melodies
Water
and
and,
certain like.
No, it depends what it is. You're allowed to listen to different types of music, but music affects you. Whoever sings it affects you.
Like a church choir.
It depends. It depends. Yeah, the black gospel, no problem. You said it's my dream. It's my dream to have a Jewish gospel show.
Right?
It's so much happier.
And the acoustics are amazing.
I know. It's one of the 70 fastest combination that I want to take. But it shouldn't be that a Christian or a gospel church should be more exciting to daven in than in a Jewish show. It shouldn't be. We should have the most exciting type of davening. Right? There should be nobody as happy.
They make us pay for Aliyah.
Right. If do es Hashem b'simcha, right? Mizmor lezona, ariu Hashem. We're supposed to sing with tremendous joy and happiness and love and cry in the middle of davening and jump on the table. It's like, I love you, God. We are lacking the passion. We're dormant Jews. We are sleeping souls.
Depends where you go.
Depends where you go.
Go into a summer show.
Right.
It's like that.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, if you go to stolen Hasidim, nobody's sleeping, right? It's like, oh, if we go in the stolen shul, what?
I'm installing sukkahs.
So they scream everywhere. So that's so style. It's just, you have to like screaming. But the idea,
You can find a space.
right? So,
No offense.
You only your eyes only light up when you rip out.
пожалуйста. So, what I want to conclude on that topic is like that. Is that going back to Avraham Avinu? Avraham Avinu acted like that because he heard what was happening. Right? Hashem told him what was happening. Do you believe that everything that you hear in your life comes from Hashem telling you this is what you need to hear?
Yes.
All right, we have one volunteer. You can go. So, meaning the idea is that if you live on that level, then you can use every message that you hear. Meaning, today you heard, there was something stabbing happening in Israel, God forbid. Today you hear something happening in Russia or in Ukraine. Do you pray? Meaning, do you understand that what you're hearing and the reason you hear these specific things and not someone else or not from somewhere else, it means that you are responsible, like an Avraham Avinu, to pray for the people who are suffering there, for the innocent, for what needs to happen in that place. You're responsible for the world. The reason you're Jewish is because you signed up to be president for the world. Every Jew is a little president. What's happening here?
And a president.
Is it a conspiracy against the president? We are all...
She's stealing something from me. Having an argument.
Makes sense
Undertone.
So every one of us has to feel, guys, you're live. We know, we recognize your voice. Everyone, especially a singer, no. And you wear Adidas shoes now.
He's just pushing like whoever is watching it.
You
make
recognize.
sure they recognize him.
He has black hair, I know that. Okay, so the idea is that we have to step up our level of consciousness in terms of the responsibility that we have towards the world, and we should start learning to see, to have an Ein Tov. If you want to fight Ein Hara, my Rebbe says, should be Gesucht und stark, Ad 120 at least. And he says that to fight Ein Hara, the strongest weapon against it, the strongest shield is Ein Tov. If you're constantly involved in the positive energy to look at things and see the good, a negative eye cannot enter. If you criticize all the time, oh look those Jews, oh look those people, oh look at this nation and that, you have become a negative eye, and a negative eye has access to you. So you want to be protected. Act Ein Tov. See the good in every human being. See the good in every nation, even the difficult ones. If you're gonna have a son who rebels against you or doesn't listen to you or whatever, an Esav, an Ishmael, you still need to have Ein Tov. Remember that Ishmael in this week's parsha, he became the greatest tzaddik at the end. When Avraham died, he did teshuvah. He went to bury Avraham with Yitzchak, and it says at the end of time, Ishmael are going to be our greatest friends. We're going to be brothers again, same father. But again, don't confuse the Arabs with Ishmael. Arabs are not all Ishmael. There's a lot of Arabs who come from the Occident, from the West, like from in Iran. They're really Occidental. They're not real. They're fake Arabs. What?
Who?
The Iranians.
They're not even Arab. They're not.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They're fake.
What do you mean
So.
they're not Arabs?
They're
From the West.
Persian.
They came and infiltrated the country to say, yeah, we are Arabs too. It's not. It's a different type of
They
species.
call themselves ethnic Arabs.
No, they don't.
I don't know what they call
Islam
themselves.
came to Iran.
Islam and Arab have nothing to do with
Right,
it.
Yeah.
that's right. But the real
Islam is
Ishmael,
a religion,
at the end of time,
and Arab
you
is
can see, you can speak to Muslim, the peaceful Muslim. A lot of them, they love Israel. But unfortunately,
Muslim is
Evangelical
not-
Christians, Rabbi.
Muslim is
What?
Wait,
Evangelical.
is it
Christian.
Who started it?
right? Yeah. True. Yes.
But also they want to all become Christian too.
It's the head of Esau, the good part of Esau. What?
Muhammad started the
Who started
religion, but
Muhammad started the religion.
Yeah.
That's why.
But the
yeah.
bloodline
But Ishmael was there from before, all the way.
Right, so Muhammad came from Ishmael, like it's his descendant.
Oh,
Was it Ishmael Jewish?
Ishmael was
And
there was.
Muhammad
there were no Jews because it was before.
He technically was Jewish. He could have been Jewish, but he just got whatever rid of his Jewish rights. He had the bris like with Avraham at 13.
I told you she
No,
started
I'm
this
saying Muhammad.
No,
He
well,
started.
well, yeah, I don't know. I don't think we know exactly his ancestors all the way where it goes back to. but he was not such
He said that he
a...
was a Jew.
Wait, so how is
So I
it
would be
possible
surprised.
that if he was
I would be
Jewish and he
surprised.
started
The worst
flying?
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't
I have
know.
a song from Moshe Shapiro.
We all our own greatest enemies.
Muslims are the people ones.
The Muslims are what?
Yeah, but not anymore.
Muslims are.
Right. So there's some Muslim today.
Now it's
I think
like
it's a
that.
minority who come from
Blowing
Ishmael,
over.
and
Everyone's converting.
they will completely do tshuva and join us
I don't
at the other time. I
understand why
mean,
they're
every nation is
Muslims.
going to join us technically, but even I'm not sure.
It's the original Arab
Is
nation.
it Arabs or Muslims? It's two different things.
Right.
Yeah.
Muslim
Right.
is the
Which
religion.
one is
Arab
the
is-
Arabs and Arabs?
Ishmael is Arab.
It's
No.
hard.
Right.
It's hard. The religion is not.
We'll call it the authentic Arabs are the Ishmael. Right. And then there's the mix, like everything
Everybody
else
that
of mix.
identifies as
Right.
a Muslim is not.
So, what we're saying, so just like Avraham, try to pray for, when you hear something, try to be an Avraham Avinu. Pray for them and try to learn from each nation what's beautiful about them.
You should pray for non-Jewish people.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, we discussed that. last time.
You should absolutely pray for sure. We on Rosh Hashanah you do. But
You don't say your prayer every morning?
Yeah.
I did.
didn't we do that? We made a prayer last week about the world. I encourage whoever wasn't here last week, I encourage you to write your own prayer for the world and say it every day in order to make a real change. I want to give a quote from Rabbi Yaakov Weinberg. This is my Rebbe's Rebbe, who was the Rosh Hashanah of Bnei Israel, like I don't know, a while ago. So this is how he described the Jews, okay? It's so powerful, I always like to read it again and again because I think it's magnificent. And when you accept to be a Jew, you're not a Jew as an individual. You're a Jew only as part of the Jewish people. But everything about that means it goes to the rest. Micro in order to affect the macro. The Jewish nation is the body, and every individual Jew is a cell inside that body. A cell that can die, but it can be replaced. The body stays the same. We're Jewish only because we're part of the Jewish people. Now, the purpose of that nation, the Jewish people, the reason we are all connected together as Jews is for one purpose. And the purpose of that nation is for all of mankind. We say Am Segula, right? A treasured people. If I ask you, can you give me a Segula? What's a Segula?
Don't cross your fingers.
What's a
That's
Segula?
easy.
You're not explaining. What's a Segula?
Treasure.
Okay.
Placebo.
Okay. I want
Placebo.
a Segula to find a Shido. What does that mean? What's a Segula?
A placebo effect.
It's a type of placebo. I mean, unfortunately, people see
I want
it
something to
as
make me
a
feel better
placebo.
about
That's why it doesn't always work. It's not meant to be a placebo.
Wait, is it real?
I'm like a shortcut. Way to enhance the value.
Did you hear when I asked you?
Yes, but why does it work? What
Oh,
is
you
meant
didn't
to?
hear, you see?
What is
Treasure,
unique?
like,
Look at that.
Is the what?
it's a treasure. It's valuable.
You didn't
Yeah,
hear?
so-
See?
Guys, you having a discussion or?
No, we're listening.
You're talking about segulas now.
Exactly.
Okay.
If you put rum in your soup, it just helps you be connected.
Tonight we have the sushi segula. That's why we have so many people come. You're gonna find the right. Okay, a segula it's a way to find a shortcut, but because you're tapping into the essence of what's gonna fix the thing. The problem as Jews today, why a lot of segula doesn't work, is because we actually don't understand how it's supposed to work. It's right. You need to understand why it works like that, because segula is supposed to change you. It's not supposed to be something magic. In Judaism, we don't believe in doing just something magic. Oh, I do a mitzvah, it's just going to happen. No, mitzvahs chas kavana. You need to have kavana. You need to understand how it works.
Are they worth to do it? Like to try to do it?
It's worth to do it only if you see how it's gonna help you find your shido. What in it? So, for example, they say Shir Hashirim. You read Shir Hashirim in 40 days. You're gonna find your shido.
And then it doesn't happen.
Okay, but yeah, it doesn't happen. It's like, oh great, I guess
It's
it's
not
not a
true?
single. Huh?
Same
It's not true?
No, I'm not saying it's not true. The question, no, some say do nishmas. But the question is, when you say nishmas or when you say Shir Hashirim, why Shir Hashirim? Maybe say read the Wall Street Journal for 40 days, and you find your shidduch, maybe in a politician. No, so why Shir HaShirim? What's unique about Shir HaShirim that is going to make you find your shidduch?
It's romantic.
Because Shir HaShirim has to do with an idea of what true soulmates are. So by learning, understanding what true soulmates are, when you're going to make the reading, by inspiring yourself of that reality, you're going to connect. You're going to have an access to that, to that energy. It's like you send, like the secret, right? You're sending those vibes, those vibrations in the world.
Manifestation?
The manifestation, and then it's going to attract that thing. But if you just say Shir HaShirim, just blah 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 blah, it's magic, you're not sending anything. I mean, you're sending some Lashon HaKodesh, but it's not going to bring exactly what you need necessarily. So why I'm saying that, I'm Segula. We are the Segula of the world. You need to fix the world. There is a nation. Each time the world is meant to be destroyed, we'll destroy the Jews to make sure the world doesn't get destroyed. We are the antidote. We are the medicine that's supposed to cure the world. But if we're sick ourselves, we are not going to be able to help the world. You understand? So we need. This is what the Am Segula is. This is what our purpose is. We're here to be the antidote to the problems of the world. And therefore, according to that, it's for them. If you look at the Rosh Hashanah Machzor, so that I was saying, it's all for mankind. The prayer is that God should be manifest through all of humanity. We pray during Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur to achieve the ultimate meaning, that being a Jew is for all mankind, and that the reason we are in exile is for us to reach all of mankind. Why do you happen to be in America, my friends? Because you're supposed to affect the Americans. You are American Jews. Actually, sorry, you are Jewish Americans, and you're supposed, as a Jew in America, to infiltrate and teach everyone about God and behave in a way that when someone sees you, say, why is that person so nice? Why is that person has so much good midos and character traits? There must be something holy to them. Shabbos, look at the kids. I want to know where it's come from the Torah. And guess what? When we cross the Jordan River to go into Israel the first time, Yehoshua had to write the Torah into 70 language on 12 huge stones, so that anybody who wanted to learn the Torah in his language could, any of the nation. So that's very important to remember that. Okay, that it's part of our history. What is sad is that we have lost as Jews that, you understand, that's the real mission of the Jewish people. We think, why are the Jews in the world? Oh, we're here to serve God, to do the mitzvahs. I mean, yeah, but that's not the ultimate goal. The actual end goal is that all of humanity would say, and we say it every day, who says that? The non-Jews. Because it's our responsibility to serve God, so that all the nation will eventually say, who says that? The nation. We have to push the world to come to that. When the nations, all the nations, the 70 nations, recognize God, we will have fulfilled our mission. We can rest. But that's how it will work. And you see how far Judaism, the Jews are from that state of mind, from that reality? We're completely disconnected from that. We're claustrophobic in our own religion, and we're not even making it work. Because where so many people suffer, there's so much, people are disconnected, people are going over there, the people, like, we're struggling. And I believe the reason we're struggling so much is because we're so focused on ourselves that, it's like you stay during Corona with everybody who has Corona. It's not going to heal. Right? We need to put our mask.
Well, you're going to be cancelled.
What?
You're going to be cancelled.
Right? Yeah. And really learn to be open-minded, to open our conscious by focus on the rest of the world and care for others and love others instead of hating anybody who is not like me, not Jewish, not my minhag or anything like that. The Jewish people is a training center. The Judaism and our Jewish town and communities is the rehab to learn how to get rid of pain, of jealousy, of hatred. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha starts at home. And if you can do that home, then you can go out in the world and do it with the rest of the world. What do you think there's a halacha that if you speak Lashon Hara about a non-Jew, you are not being punished? You're not supposed to do it, but you're not being punished. With a Jew, you're punished. That sounds very unfair. I'll tell you why. Because as a Jew, in your religion, right, you're training, you're in the rehab, so you can't do that. You're in the rehab center. You can't take that, because if you take one little, it's going to affect you in a very negative way. But now, when you go out of the rehab and you're not punished, let's see how you behave. What's your natural instinct and manners? Have you become someone who now doesn't have the desire to do it, right? That's why you're not punished. To see if you have become that type of human being. To see if when you're not punished, if you're still going to say Lashon Hara about someone. But Chas v'Shalom, that we should speak Lashon Hara about a non-Jew, that it's okay to steal for a non-Jew. I mean, I hear crazy stuff. Oh, well, it was just a non-Jew, I cut him off. It's like, you're not allowed. It's halacha, you're not allowed to Gemara, you're not allowed to steal from a non-Jew, you're not allowed to speak Lashon Hara about a non-Jew, you're supposed to treat a non-Jew almost as well, if not better, than a Jew, because the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem is the greatest mitzvah of all. Right? It's something that as Jews, because we have suffered so much in exile and we're being persecuted, we look at the non-Jews as the enemy. It's not. They are evil forces among the non-Jews and even among the Jews. Right? The Erev Rav looks more Jewish. This Erev Rav says Baal Shem Tov that looks like rabbis with long beard. That's why I keep it short. No, but this rabbis is part of the Erev Rav, and they make everybody, live a Judaism that hates the rest, and it's not a healthy Judaism. So we have to understand that we have to change the way we look at why we're Jewish and how to be Jewish, right? But obviously, it's at home. That's the ultimate challenge. Any question on that?
How about certain mitzvahs that we treat Jews nicely, and then the Rambam says it's a mitzvah not to do that by a non-Jew, like Shemitah.
Yeah.
Let's say you're not supposed to, all debts are canceled on Shemitah, and then the Rambam comes to the mitzvahs that you should take debts from a non-Jew on Shemitah. This is the mitzvah I see. How do we view those things?
Okay, I don't know. Usually you have to study each one.
Yeah.
No, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for coming.
Miriam.
Thank you. Okay. She's going to be able to walk? Okay. Oh, fashion. That's a good question. I don't know. What? Every individual, every halacha has its own. You have to find out. Usually, there's always something to learn. But for example, I'll give you an example. A Jewish slave, right? What are you supposed to do with a Jewish slave? Are you supposed to send him away or keep him?
Send him away.
Ideally, you should send him away. They should be free. Ideally, and you have six years to do it by the Shemitah. Here, he's supposed to release him. With a non-Jewish slave,
We're talking about Jewish slaves.
what about the non-Jewish slave? What are you supposed to do with a non-Jewish slave, ideally? You're supposed to keep him. Why?
Why? That doesn't make sense.
No, because you're going to influence him to come closer to God and to want to serve God more. That's why. You understand the logic? So we look at halacha, it's like, oh, this is disgusting. Look at where the Jews. No. The whole purpose of every one of our halachos is to bring people closer to God and to Torah and to.
And with a Jewish slave, you can go on out.
Because for him, being a slave, it's not good, right?
What about ribbis with a non-Jew?
What?
What about ribbis with a non-Jew?
So if ribis, actually, you're not supposed to do ribis ideally, or nobody should do ribis with anyone. But it's the same thing. Are you going to do ribis even with a non-Jew? Right? The people it's ideally we shouldn't. We should have a society where we treat Jews like we treat non-Jews.
Nowadays,
That's how it should be. What?
Nowadays, the whole passion has
Yeah.
the rabbis give them like parents to do it only on non-Jews.
How much you?
I don't know, but it's the world is to be with much more harmony. You understand? If you're almost done. You understand? If the Jews are the husband and the non-Jews are the wife, then the Jews are supposed to show and attract the woman, the non-Jews, to come close to us, meaning to God.
Men don't
And yes, and that's the problem, because most men don't do that even today, even within a marriage. How do you expect the non-Jews to do it with the nation?
It's not about marriage, it's about before.
Yeah, it's before marriage. The men are not trained, they don't put enough attention. That's why the Jews suffer with that, because even men themselves, they're not proactive in trying to see the beauty in their wife, and not just the physical beauty, the inner beauty, right? Most people, they get married only because of the external beauty and some other stuff, some good trait and there, but you're supposed through the years go deeper and deeper till you see all the parts, all the beauty that person has. And that's exactly what it means. We know there's 7 parts of the body, right? 7 energies, 7 chakras, whatever, different ways how to put it. Depends if you're Buddhist or not. But it's the 7 spheres are in every woman. It's 7 correspond to 70, correspond to the female, correspond to Adam and Eve, correspond to the 70 nations. So you understand that there's a parallel all there. That at the end, it's all Adam's fault. The male energy. It's male energy is responsible. Okay, we agree with that, you know. Yeah. You know, and
I'll add it to the list.
and
We're both having this.
the male energy is supposed to be able to see the beauty in the other. If we do that, then as a nation, there's hope that we can do it with the non-Jews. But we understand that it works on both levels. And the last thing I wanted to share tonight is just one short thing about davening, because we all have to get to learn to daven with passion. I want to ask you, how do you stand when you daven Shemona Esrei? If you stand straight,
Like an angel.
If you doubt.
If you daven.
if you daven, or when you pray to God, what's your
I
position?
walk around.
Right?
Not
You walk
the
around?
Shemona Esrei.
When I daven, I walk around. I don't daven as master, but when I daven, I walk around.
Oh, I know why. You're saying God is everywhere. Therefore, I'm going to walk everywhere. So
But Shemona
understand,
Esrei, you're supposed to stand at attention.
right? And how during Shemona Esrei, how are you supposed to have your head positioned?
Bowed.
Bowed a little bit down. And what about your feet? Together. Why? Why together as one? Because you're like an angel. You're about to enter into the spiritual world. You don't want to look like weird there.
Like outside.
You know, like you have 2 heads or 2 legs. No, it's one, like the angels.
Blended.
So you're entering you want a free entrance into that. Now, why the head is supposed to be down?
Respect.
Right, a little bit of humility. If you're in the army, how are you supposed to be?
Hello.
Straight. Right? If you're not allowed to be like that. If you're like that, they'll slap you, right? Because sir, yes, sir. But if you say yes like that, it's gonna slap you because you're arrogant. What? Yeah. You're supposed to be straight like
Slap
that,
you by way of like a
and you're not supposed to go right and left. You know, like sir, yes, sir. During Kedusha, one of the things that I train, you know, like you say, Kadosh, 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 Hashem Tzevakot. What's Hashem Tzevakot? The God of armies. So you're there with the armies. So, and I say Kadosh, 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 you are there like a soldier, and you see, so it's from male and female soldiers. By the Jewish, we allow male and female soldiers. We're the first one. They also say Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. Anyway.
Oh, that's what you said.
From davening.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
The spiritual soldier. Anyway, so we're supposed to be like that, the head down, and the hands. How are the hands supposed to be? Like that, like that, that, that. No, that's Egyptian. Like that? Yeah, that's a Sephardi style. Habibi, give me some trina. What? Right. The Zohar, the Shulchan Aruch says right hand on top of the left hand, right? Like when the lulav and the estrog, you could put it like that. So the left hand represents your gvura, your weaknesses or your power of your weaknesses, and or din, and the right hand represents love. The love should be always stronger than the din, right? Which and where you're supposed to put it against your heart. It's also an energy. Energy is flowing through your fingers. You know, like Kohanim, they send energy. You're supposed to take all your energy. What do you think you have 10 fingers? 10 spheros. You have access to the channel of those 10 spheros, the energy in your hands. That's how powerful you are. That's why Kohanim do it like that, the name of Hashem. Yeah, now Wi-Fi, right? We have 10 wires. And that's why the nails, they grow from there. Same thing with the head. You think and the thought leaves. So the every hair grows there and there. Anyway, so you go like that, and you go against your heart, and then you're supposed to activate the emotions here, and then you can pray like that and feel like you're like a pure, perfect antenna.
Very hard to stay in that position for 5 minutes.
It is unless no, it's true, it's hard. You practice.
For 5 minutes?
The Baba Saleh and many Mekubalim says ideally you should not shake. I know myself when I start. You're allowed to shake, okay, but you're allowed to shake with kavana. If
I can't just sit like this.
5 on Shabbos.
well, you'll be surprised. People who have ADHD or ADD, they actually can focus better than anybody else. It's just that their mind just has to be focused on one. You'll be surprised. So what do you do? What do you do? You are supposed to lose yourself. If you don't move, right? If your body doesn't move, you can forget actually that you are a body or in your physical body, and literally you can have an out of the body experience. Are you interested?
Having an out-of-body experience?
Yeah, without substances. Without, no, you don't need DMT, you don't need anything, no ayahuasca. You just leave your body and connect to God. You can do that every day, 3 times a day. And there's no after effect. Negative, only positive ones. So ideally we should not be shaking, we should be not moving, and try to be completely numb and forget that you are in the body.
Have it sound like that?
Yeah. Again, you can pray whatever way you want. This is the way the Kabbalists advise you to do for all the channels of energy, the meridians, the chakras, the spheros to be completely aligned. And so the right hand on top of the left and the left thumb on top of the right.
Like this?
Yeah, and against your heart so that you feel.
And that's how you're supposed to daven Shmones?
Why the left thumb on top of the right?
And because the right already represents love, you should, you're supposed to have some judgment in life. You have to judge things, but always with more love than din.
Oh, right.
Right.
She's asking something about the thumbs.
So the thumb is because even though you mostly love, you have always to have keep some gvura, right? So you don't if too much chesed, it brings you Ishmael. Not too much chesed, so you can't be extreme always.
So the left thumb represents Ahava?
The gvura, the gvura that's from the left hand. So you have mostly love, but a little bit of din, right? Meaning, I'm going to show unconditional love to my son, but if he does something wrong, I still need to punish him in a loving way. So you need to put something. So you're like that, and ideally you have closed eyes for those who know by heart. If you don't know by heart, it's okay. Try to get used to the Shmoneh Esrei, to pray by. That's mostly during Shmoneh Esrei. If you shake, try to have the kavanah while you're shaking.
Wait, it's better not to look at the center?
Yeah, during Shmoneh Esrei only.
What?
Doing Shmoneh Esrei, yeah. Because
your eyes fall out.
Because it's supposed to be a spiritual. It's supposed to be a spiritual experience, a real meditation experience. You're supposed to literally have an out of the body experience. But unfortunately, like, are you?
No
is
way, just
someone being blocked?
Just daven first.
And no one is blocking anyone, right?
Focus on your.
Yo, can you lock up? I think they're gonna gang up on us.
Just
This
check.
is how anti-Semitism happens.
Yeah, no, I mean,
No, like, is
Yeah,
there
maybe.
some significance to, like, okay.
All this scary shit they
and,
told us in school.
right. So when you make the 3 steps, you enter into the spiritual world, and then when you go, you leave. You're supposed to leave by bowing. Did you ever do martial art?
No.
If you go to a martial art, you always have to leave backward from your master, and he has to see you before you leave, and you bow and you go back. That's what you're supposed to do when you leave God. You 3 steps back, bowing, and going like that. So I hope that it's gonna inspire you to connect on a more spiritual level to your davening, and now it's our turn to go change the world, God willing, Foundation.